Yes, indeed, and a very good morning and welcome to Sports Check this lovely Monday morning, where we have a couple of things to discuss this morning, and of course all about sports. Superbike racing will be one of the key topics today, and of course the guests already in the house are speaking to Miruri Kelvin, Phyllis Ngina, as well as Muraya Kuria, who are out from the Superbike series. They'll be here to tell us about how the machines are taking on the gravel and what they're up to this year before it folds, and how about the other two legs that have already been held this season. Also, we'll be speaking to Ronnie Lusigi, the recently elected Kenya Esports Federation president. He'll be coming in later on, and also we'll be having a hands-on to what's happening as far as the current affairs is concerned, including the Senate ad hoc committee that's in Mombasa investigating the Shaka Hola massacres that's in Mombasa. We'll be linking up with our reporters on the ground to give us the latest on the ground. I'm Bernard Dokumen. Very good morning and welcome to Sports Check. Karibuni sana Muraya, Phyllis Ngina and Miruri Kelvin. Let's talk about Phyllis. You could begin by just taking us through the Superbike series and how it's been. The season has been. We're talking about 2023. Okay,
so for the 2023 season, we've had 3 races so far. So the November 12th race is going to be our 4th round. So far it's been a very exciting series. So we have had races come in, race for the championship point. So in each race you get a few points and they're accumulated, and at the end of the series now, at the end of our 4th race, we will be accumulating all of them to find out who are our champions for the year. Yeah. It's
Muraya, lovely. You could tell us how the season has been for you. Have you gotten enough points, and how would you evaluate the season so far?
Thank you, Kumu. So how the year started, I started with a smaller CC as compared to what bike I'm having right now. So due to some sponsors, they came through for me to be able to switch up. So the first races weren't as good. I fell in the first race. So in the session, in the day, you have 2 races. So the first race is in the morning, the other race is in the afternoon. So the first race I fell, and then now eventually I ended up with 9 points. So the second race was good. I was able to get my first podium. I was P2, and then the third race, which happened on September, the start of September, I was able to get position 1 on the races. So far it's good. We're still racing for the championship. We want to see what will happen on the 12th of November. So yeah.
Yes. And Miruri?
For me, I'd say it's been interesting. It's been a bit hectic because you find you're switching positions, but luckily I've been able to get a podium on the 3 races. So on the coming on, I'm also looking towards the podium, and hopefully I'll be top 3 in the overall series. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Phyllis, and what's at stake as the season concludes?
So what's at stake for most of the bikers? I am the race director for the races. So for me, my job is to make sure that everyone is safe and that everyone races according to the rules. So mostly for us, it's very much building the sports, and for the racers it's having that accolade, knowing that you are the fastest, or you are faster than everyone else on the podium, or you're faster than everyone else on the track. So we have 4 categories right now. We have the Sport 100, which they are racing in. We also have the Sport 300, Super Sport 600 and 1000. So you see that the bikes go higher in CCs, the 100, 300, 600, 1000. So the higher you go in CC, the more competitive it is, because the faster the bikes are. But you see, even in the smaller categories, it's still, there are more people. So everyone wants this point, and everyone wants to be known as the fastest racer. Yeah, and it's a lot about the adrenaline and the communityship that we are building. Yeah.
Yes, and what decides where to feature among the 4 categories?
It depends on what CC your bike has and what power it produces. So as you can see, the bike that we have here is a RC200. So it produces less than 200 cc's. So it needs to be in the 100 cc category. So it depends on what bike one has. So I encourage everyone who's out there and has a bike, if you use it to commute, you can come bring it on track and we can see if it can race. Most probably we'll put it around like the 100, 200, depending on how much power it produces. Yeah.
Yes, and Muraya, how, maybe in your category, how has it been? Have you found it tough?
Yeah, it is quite tough. It is quite competitive because you find that actually in our class we have the most competition as compared to all the other 300, 600, 1000 cc classes. We have I think there's a record we had like around 10 or 11 racers in one race. So it is a lot of competition. So now it is just you showing yourself, depicting yourself out of the rest, you see. So it's your skill and how you can use that power, and how basically inside the track where you can gain a lot of time is through the corner. So yeah, it's a lot of competition.
Yes, and Miruri,
Yes.
how did you begin? When did you begin? And up to now, you know, what class, what category are you?
So I had an interest like 3 years back when I got my first bike, but it wasn't like I had no experience whatsoever. It wasn't fit for the track, so I got my sport bike last year in June, and I participated in my first race in July. Not necessarily because I'm a racer, but it's fun, the adrenaline. Yeah, so instead of going to see people race, I was like, why not be in the race? And then, as he said, it has the most people in all the series. Like we are almost double the other racers at one category, so it's competitive. So you get the adrenaline point, and also you have fun. But at the end of the day, when you're in the race, it's tough. For the 1 hour or so you're racing, it's a mind game. It's skill, the power of the bike, luck. Yeah. So it's been interesting, and I love it there.
Yeah. And maybe Phyllis, you can talk about the combination of the skill, the power, and adrenaline. What makes a good racer?
Okay, what makes a good racer is, first of all, showing up. The fact that you already have the urge to race and you were passionate enough to come and bring yourself and the bike on track. The other thing is skill in terms of practice. So as a racer, and they know that for you to win, you need to actually practice and practice a lot. Because a lot of the times these racers are on the track to practice almost every Sunday. So even if you have a very fast bike and you don't have the skill, then you will fall back. So unless you are extremely competitive and then now on race day you decide to come in and push completely, it's definitely advised that you practice way before the race. So, and then also the bike that you have matters, but because of the track that we have, it matters more the skill than the bike. So you can come with whatever bike that you have, fit it into the category, and the more you practice, the more skill you build, the better racer you become. So also that, and also discipline on the track. As a racer, you need to be able to take care of yourself and other people. So you find that the best racers are those ones that, even if you want to be ahead, you don't do things to make other people crash, you don't do things that are unsafe or unsportsmanlike. Yeah.
Yes, and Mariah, why did you pick up a superbike racing?
I can remember, so when I used to work at a place where it involved like a lot of big bikes. So I used to have that interest to check if everything just, what happens with all these stories about racing. So I started watching MotoGP. So a lot of these bikers, they watch a lot of MotoGP. So it's the equivalent to F1. So now for the bikers. So I used to watch a lot of it, and just one day, the man I was working for, he just told me, Mora, why don't you try? Pick this bike, go and try. So I went and tried, and it's 1 year, 2 years down now. So yeah.
Yes, and now looking at how the series is closing. I mean, Phyllis, do we have an Eastern Central Championship, or what happens to our Kenyan champions?
Oh, currently we do not have the Eastern Central Championship, but we would want to build and grow to that level. We just have the Kenyan Championship, and if possible, we might want to take our racers to South Africa to race with other racers from there. Because previously in other championships, we've had racers go to South Africa to race in, it's called Red Star Track. So they practice there and race with the other racers there to even gauge where they are, because you might think you're good here, but when you expose yourself to other people, you realize that you could learn some skills. So we don't currently have an East African Championship, but we're hoping to build one as from next year. Yeah.
And of course, Kelvin and Muraya, Miruri and Muraya, good racers, who definitely can match up to the rest of the African champions, right?
They can tell us.
Trust. It's just that we're looking for what is this called? Sponsorships. Because right now we see what we're doing is just having the zeal and the energy to do this, but the funds kidogo zinawaga, you have some struggle. So for the Sleek Superbike races, so it's Sleek. Sleek is a company in itself, is an entity in itself. So they're the ones who do the the bulk of the sponsorship for the races and stuff. So we're calling out just to have sponsors for the events and everything outside. Yeah.
Yes, and Phyllis, maybe how has Slick been able to fill in that gap, albeit this little step it's been doing so far?
Yes, so far I think they've done a lot for the sport, because to be able to have this and organize these races, it takes a lot of manpower, first of all, a lot of funds to be able to rent out and have the track for the period of time that we have it. So Slick as a company has definitely helped with organizing the race. We also have the Turismo Motors, who also help in the organizing, as well as, so right now we're currently looking for other sponsors that could help us work into the event and help us build the event even further, so to have more people and to have even more racers, so that we can have maybe prizes for the racers to encourage more racers to race. So yeah, definitely they've played a big role, but we would want more people to come in and also take up that role.
And how do you see next season coming? We're going to have maybe an increased interest from the sponsors?
Yes, I think there'll be an increased interest from all parties involved, from the sponsors, from the racers, from even organizers. For us, we would want more people to come and spectate. So right now we're also creating awareness for people to come and watch the races. So if you have a friend who's a biker and would want to join as a racer, have them come, and you come also and watch them, so that we can build the numbers even in the sport. So next year, we're hoping that we'll have more people coming to watch the race and also more interest in the sponsors, so that we can all build and grow the sport together. Yeah.
And Kevin, how does the increased sponsorship make you a better rider?
Yeah, I believe so, because first of all, to see like the MotoGP, like the bikes, you can even see maybe the plastics, or they are full of stickers from the sponsors.
It's like collage.
The soles are full of stickers. So so I believe having a sponsor becomes more easy, because most of us, you have, like, if you don't have a bike like me before, like, you have to save up first to get a bike, and then on the race, as much as Slick comes through, we have to pay for registration. We have to cater for your fuel. You have, in case of an accident, you have to have insurance on your own. So I believe having a sponsor counts much, eases up the burden on the rider. And then maybe, like, Mora is an experienced rider than I am, because he's been in the sport for long. I believe he shouldn't be in the same category as me. So if he gets
been saying
maybe you planned that out. Maybe let me plan that out.
So I believe if he got a sponsor to get a bigger bike, I believe he'd do much better even on the higher CC, and then that would create more space for an upcoming rider not to feel threatened, because so I believe sponsorships help much as most of us are self-employed. Maybe we don't have enough time to go to training, but having a sponsor helps on the burden, I believe, so, and makes one a better rider.
Yes, and maybe you can just tell us, Mora, you can put a picture when we talk about the cost, of racing. What are we talking about?
Okay, so for you to prep yourself well for a race, you have to have good drive set. So now drive set is how you transfer the power from the engine to now the wheel, and you have to have good clutch plates. Now that is how it transfers the power also from the engine to the wheel. So you have to buy tires, and tires are quite expensive. You can get a full set for tires for a bike like this that is here, the KTM. You have to budget for about 30,000. You have to have enough fuel, and fuel is about, giving the case as you're having about the fuel prices, you have to have like about half tank of the bike with fuel. And also, what else? A lot of it is very involving in terms of like how, and also suits. For you to get a suit, you have to have like a budget of around 30 to 40,000. A helmet, a good helmet like these that are displayed here, they cost about 25,000 and above. But for the better ones, for the best ones, cost like around 80,000 and upwards. So, and the gloves, you can get some for about 10,000 bob. Boots, you get for about 30,000. It's quite involving in terms of the financial aspect of racing. Because you see now, when you get into the track, you have to be protected. You have to have a good helmet. You have to have good gloves, good boots, and a good suit for you to be protected. Because it's a huge risk to get inside the track. So eventually you might get yourself falling, because you see now we're pushing to the limits, something you don't see on the traffic road. So pushing the bikes to the limit. So for you to be able to push the bike to the limit, you have to have insurance, and insurance in yourself is you have good and appropriate gear. So yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, Phyllis, Mariah is talking about what one must have, you know, for instance, the helmet, you know.
Yeah.
What else? What else?
What else? What is covered is basically what we require. So a racer can't get on track if they don't have the helmet, the suits, the boots, and for most categories you need a full suit like what they're wearing right now. You said it's about 40,000, but I would say that is maybe if you go to Gikomba, if you go to Gikomba, their suit is 40,000. But usually it's upwards of 70,000 if you want to get a new one that works. So they also have armor on the suits. So that armor is rated CE level, at least level 1, but we recommend level 2. So you see, with all this cost, whatever he said is basically covers everything, but you realize that the costs accumulate. So if someone is joining the sport without knowing anything, they may not be able to race if they are low on funds. Yeah.
Yes, and of course the series. How would you term the series so far? Has it been? It's not so new, but has it attracted the traction that you expected?
Yes. I think it has attracted the traction that we wanted, and especially now the beginning, first few races when people did not know what to expect, so they were very excited, and now we're getting to the point where we're about to close the season, and we want people to come through with the same energy that they've been coming with. So they support, they cheer, and especially for the people who have people inside the racers, the people who know the racers, so they can come and cheer on their fans and the people who they know. And I also recommend that anyone who's not attended a race before, that they come for the race and see what it's about, because you never know where your interests lie. So yes, so far I think yes, it's matched up to our expectations, but we also want it to grow far much bigger than it is right now. Yeah.
And Miruri, has it been the adrenaline only?
No, as she said, you have to have a set of acquirements before you join the race. So as much as I go to enjoy myself, it's more about discipline first, because as a racer you have to respect the other racers. There's some stuff you can do on the race to put others in danger, and also commitment, because you have to keep practicing every day. As much as it's adrenaline, there's other aspect. It improves you to become a better person, competitive wise, and then discipline. You have to be committed, because as she said, you have to keep training. Even if you have a nice bike and you don't train as much, it won't help you on the track. So it is as much as helpful to be committed. Another thing is some of us riders use it as a mental health. Instead of going to see a therapist, we use our bikes as that. So so as much as you're racing, maybe you've had a hectic week, once you get on the track, you have to keep your mind on the track, because if you veer off, you might crash. So after the race also you find like you have a better feeling, like the adrenaline comes with the wiping off of the mind. So the stress that you had for the week, it's gone. So you leave the race having a better week. Even if you don't win, you've had a good time. So mental wise, you become very free.
I saw Phyllis and Mariah nodding as you picked on.
Very true.
You picked on. She picked on mental health. Yes, Mariah.
It's very true. So actually, you see now when I pointed out that we push the bikes to the limit. So the escape, like when you get yourself pushing the bike inside the track to the limit, it is an escape. You only focus on your next corner. You focus on how fast you're going, how you're taking your corner. It's a very good escape. We encourage anyone who's looking for a mental escape. We encourage you to get into bikes. You might fall a bit. You might get some stress after you fall, but the good thing about biking is when you fall is how you get back. You get back on the bike. That's the good thing about bikes. So I've fallen a number of times. I have some battle scars on this suit. So it just shows that I am willing to still do it.
Yes. Phyllis?
Yeah, for sure. I think the mental health aspect is why even we all became bikers in the first place, because there's something so different about being on two wheels and it's just you and the track and it's just you, and even the ones who are not on track, even if it's just you and the road, there's something so calming that comes with, you're not, as you said, you're not thinking about anything else. It's just you and whatever is in front of you at that point in time. And because of that, your mind doesn't have time to go thinking about, oh, my girlfriend did this, or,
fuel prices.
or fuel prices, or, the economy, or the government. You don't have time to be thinking about those things because of that moment. And that moment is why we all even are here. Because I used to race before, and even when I used to race, whether you win or not, just being able to have that feeling, and have that feeling of, in this moment, I'm the one who's in control of this bike, and I'm the one who's pushing, and I've gotten to the level that, we are only a certain number of racers in the country, so only these people can do this. So I've brought myself to this level. So it gives you a sense of accomplishment also. So yeah, for sure, the mental health aspect is one of the key things that has brought us to this point. Yeah.
What satisfaction did you get before you got into managing the races? Yeah.
First of all, at that time, being one of, I think, only 2 female racers, knowing that I'm doing things that not everybody does, and knowing that I'm showing up in spaces that not everyone is in, and representing the people who look like me, other women and other people who are other young women especially, and knowing that even when I show up, I'm encouraging someone else to do something. So that's definitely a sense of accomplishment.
Yes, and Mariah?
Yeah. About you see now, as she has pointed out, that we have ladies at the track, which is very interesting to see these ladies push that fast inside the track is quite interesting. It's a sight to see. We used to have like a number of ladies on the track, about 2 or 3, but some of them, I don't know, maybe they got greener pastures, they had to move to somewhere. But the ladies that we have inside the track right now, they're about, how many are they there? It's actually 1, I think.
It's 1. It's
one.
Yeah, it's Joy Nkatha.
It's actually 1. It's
Yeah.
Joy Nkatha. So she has a big bike. She has a 600cc Kawasaki. So for what she's doing, she's making history. All these ladies who have been at the track, at Whistling Morans, where we go for our track days in our races, they make history. We know that in the future, people will be looking back and they'll be saying, I used to know Ngina. Ngina was the one who was racing. I used to know Joy. So it's a sight to see. It's something very interesting to experience. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. And looking at what will happen in November before the season closes, right? Do you think that it will match up to your targets?
Yeah, in terms of
achievement.
Yes. Oh, yes. I believe so. I trust so. That's why, actually, as I'm speaking right now, yesterday we were at the track. I had a very long weekend, so I was struggling a bit to do the practice. But you see now, it is basically, as Ngina pointed out, it is basically your consistency that speaks out how you're going to perform in the oncoming races. So it's something that is very involving in terms of your mental and your physical state. So you have to practice every time. So we're hoping, basically, on my side, as Brave Racing team, we're hoping to be able to maybe get a championship, because the guy who's in front of me, I'm the second in the championship as of the moment, and Kevin is 3rd. There's the first guy is called Jeremy. So, and funny enough, let me point out, Jeremy is 15 years old.
Yeah.
Jeremy is 15 years old. So, and he's already doing championships. It's very interesting. It's something interesting to experience. So we're hoping, even though he's my teammate, I can be able to pass him on the final races. Yeah,
you'll upstage him at the end of the championship. Yeah. And Calvin? You need to upstage him in second position.
Yeah, both of them are good. But I think I have God on my side mostly. Sometimes I can't explain how I find myself on the podium. I use my bike for commute. Them, they go to the track a lot, but myself, I use the normal road. So I also watch a lot of MotoGP. So basically translating what I see on the track, that's what I depend on mostly. And I think I'm a good racer too, because the podium, as much as it's luck, defeating like 7-8 guys also takes a toll, because we all have bikes. Some of them have better experience, but I think hopefully the way I've been finding myself on the podium, I think I'll finish fast.
The inspiration looks like it's coming from Mark McKay. Yes, and I mean, look, the satisfaction that comes with winning is I mean, speaking to you, it's not like, it's not everything. You know, the mental stability that you get from that is what matters.
It matters because right now, coming here, you can say it's raining outside, but you are here smiling. Like you can say, it's like you slept here. So I think at the end of it all, you look at the goal. Yeah, like what is it in for me? Because yeah, you can stay at home. There are people who don't ride their bikes, but there's a reason. First, you bought a bike. There's someone who just bought a bike for fun. But I believe for most of us, it's about getting out there and making yourself someone. Because at times you just stranded at home, you don't know what to do, but you just switch your bike on, take a new route, yeah, and you find yourself a destination where you had into plan. So mental-wise, I believe it's something positive for every rider who's got a bike to just go out there, have fun, take care of themselves. Because also when riding, you have to be careful. So it's not always about you. When you are on the road, you have to look out for other people. Yeah. So I believe it's for everyone to check out on themselves and yeah.
Yes, and Phyllis, I mean, looking at the quality of the race of the basically the track, right? What kind of I'll say challenges or obstacles do you put in to test their mettle, to test the racers' mettle?
Well, my job is not to test them. I'm very neutral, or a very neutral party. My job is just to make sure that the races go as they are planned to go. The challenges that are there, I don't think we impose those challenges, but what I know could happen, especially from the racer's perspective, is if the weather is not in your favor, either way, if it's too hot or if it's too cold, then you either need to, if it's too cold, you need to warm your tires up so that they have the grip. If it's too hot, then you need to know how to manage yourself as a racer, because you're also a person, like a physical body. You might overheat, you might get fatigued at some point because it's too hot. So that's one challenge. So another challenge is if you are not familiar with how the track is. So if you come to the track for the first time and you come on race day and you don't know what it is, so you're not skilled in where the turns are, and you find that if you're racing with other people who are more familiar than the track, more familiar to the track than you, you find that you're falling back. And in that case, either you need to practice some more, or you just need to practice more. Or sometimes also I don't know about you guys, but there might be intimidation from other racers, and the racers who've been there before. So I know that's a challenge.
That's one challenge.
Yeah.
Like the intimidation, you see, they are good racers and you have to compete against them. But I believe at times another biggest challenge maybe I experience if all of us are good racers, but then we have accidents on the track. Maybe the previous race there's someone who crashed, unfortunately. So it's hard because you're going to race next. Not like they didn't know the track, but they are good racers, but they have crashed and you're going there. So mentally it affects you a bit, because you're like, where if someone has gone down, what about me? So it's mentally challenging in the mind. And then you have to do like 2 races in a day. Like you have to go for the qualifiers where to determine your grid position. You have to do the first race in the morning, another one in the afternoon. So you have to be mentally fit, physically fit, because if you have a good bike or something, you might end up finishing last on the grid or down there. So basically it's a challenging day as much as you are having fun.
Yes. And I mean, Muriah,
yes.
We usually watch the sport bike racing, right? Or the MotoGP for that case. I see the races when they're in a tight corner. Sometimes they lay their knees out. I mean, what are those techniques?
So in riding we have I believe we have 2 riding techniques. So we have the off-road riding technique and we have the road riding technique. So for off-road riding technique, it's quite difficult to explain. Maybe you just, for the guys who are interested to know, they can come and find, we have 2 riders who are there and they use the off-road riding technique now on the road, because off-road riding is basically the foundation for riding in all aspects. When you get to learn, get the skills to ride off-road, on the road, it will become very easy to become like second nature. So as from your question, how you get to a corner and then you start leaning, so that's a different riding, that's a track riding technique. So basically you just get late on the brakes because the corner is coming fast. So you get late on the brakes and then you start tipping the bike over so that you can be able to like use enough speed to get into the corner and exit faster. So basically it is very track oriented. As for example, to put into perspective, because a lot of people don't watch MotoGP, so for the F1 drivers, they usually take the apex, they usually go outside and then the corner that is next, take the apex. So basically for bikes, you have to tip the bike over. So you see now it is physically involving. Like you have to be extremely fit, because for the guys who do MotoGP and WSPK and British Superbikes, they have to go for off-road training and cycling to build their stamina. They have to go to the gym to build their stamina for them to be able to handle the bikes on the track. So yeah.
And maybe Kelvin, is this your bike?
Yeah, it is.
Can we have it rev?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as does that feel is, I mean, the season is here, and also the slick biking is, what's the future? What's the promise?
Okay. I don't know if you'll hear me over the bike.
Let's have
Yeah.
him first. Kelvin do his thing and... So Kelvin, up to what speed can you go for?
Mostly the maximum I do because of the CC is 150 on a highway. Yeah, but basically on a normal riding, you just do 100 because you have to be on the lookout. They are, like the public means they just like they don't signal. Indicates you have to look out for pedestrians. You have to look out for cyclists. So on average, I do 100, but on highway you can hit 150 or upwards. Yeah, Southern Bypass, Dika Road. Yeah, but on a daily 100 maximum. Yeah.
And on the racing track during the competitions?
Actually, so on the racing, it's not about the speed because there's a lot of corners.
Yes, yes.
So you might crash. There are sharp corners, some going downhill. So I'd say on the track, it's not about more of the speed.
Yes.
Basically on our track, but on MotoGP, you find them doing even 200 kilometers per hour because the tracks are built for that.
Yes.
But these ones, I think mostly what matters is skill. How you, because you don't get to gear 6.
Yes.
You mostly do gear 2, 3, and if you lucky 4. And then you get to a corner, you have to gear down, and then before you accelerate again, there's another corner. So mostly on the track, it's how you do the corners well. Now you utilize the straights. Like there are some areas where you can speed. Yeah, so on the track, it's more about the skill, not the speed. But speed also matters because that's what determines what position you'll start. So if you are fast, you'll get a higher grip position. If you are slow, you'll get lower grip position. So skill and speed matters, but you can like do the whole of the gears on the track because there's a lot of corners. Yeah.
Does it serve you? How would you say about giving you the results that you want? Does it serve you? I mean,
yeah,
what are some of the qualities?
Because basically, like my bike, I bought it at 0 mileage. So it cost me a bit of money. So I'd say for that, I always thank it when I see my trophies in the house. I was like, yeah, this was money well spent, and somehow it gives me an edge over the other guys because you might be a good rider as you said, but you don't have a good bike.
Yeah.
So potentially you might be not such a good rider, but you have a nice bike, so it gives you some edge over such a person. So I'd say it's value for money. Yeah.
Okay, great. So Phyllis, can you talk about how about riders who cannot get they're good riders, but maybe they rent or something like that?
Oh, wow.
Is there such arrangements?
Currently, we don't have that arrangement, but I know that for the next season, you're going to be looking into getting the manufacturers and the importers of the bikes to bring them so that we can have bikes available for rent. So for now, no, you can't really rent them from us, but we advise that even if you can have a boda, like a kawaida boda bike, is it the BM 150s, those ones. If you have that one, or if you have a boda guy and you just talk to him nicely, come with that bike. Whatever bike you can access, come with it, because it's worth everything.
Yeah, like today I came riding on a boda, so I can talk nicely to that guy.
Talk nicely to him.
What does he need to do?
He would just need to come, make sure that he has appropriate gear. There are many places you can shop for this gear. Some of them are definitely more high-end, but others are more affordable. And then he just needs to come, show up, and he will be on the track. That's it.
Yes, indeed. And Mariah, we're looking at how this bike serves Kelvin, and he says, it's giving him maximum satisfaction, But looking at maybe on your side, the bike that you decided to go for.
Yeah, I got my first podium with that bike. Yeah. I'm very happy with that. It's something, you see now, for the bike that I was using, the class that I race in is between the 100 to 200 cc class. So as the races have been progressing, most guys are getting sub 200, so about 180 to 200 cc's. So a lot of the guys on the grid are getting such bikes. So you see now, the bike that I started racing with was a 125. It was a Honda 125, an Ace, the Boda, the one that you know. So, but I'm thankful. The skill that I got from that bike is very. It actually brought me to this point. I felt like my skills were overmatching the potential of the bike. So I just thought I need a switch up so that I can know that, to confirm to myself that I can be able to do it. So just after I switched to the bike that I'm using right now, I was able to get my first podium. So I'm very happy about that. So kidogo the financial aspect can be limiting, yeah. So but thus far, with whatever I've been able to do with the bike, I'm super happy about it. So yeah.
And Kelvin, yes. Mariah talks about the skill of matching the bike.
Yeah.
Where does that the confidence comes from? Where?
I think for most bikers, I believe most of us first you have to show interest. Because like me, I've never gone to a riding school. Like I learned to ride a bike on my own. So I believe first you have to have an interest at it before you get the bike. Because even you can have the money, no interest, but now you get the bike for just showing off. I believe most people won't last like 2 months with it. You'll have accidents, you'll have uncalled for mistakes. So I believe first, before getting the bike, you have to have the interest. As much as the interest is there, now you have to maybe do the defensive riding. I believe most of us have done it, like to know how to act on the road, a heavy traffic area, how to approach bumps, how to ride in the sun, how to ride in the rain, how to ride off-road. So as much as you have a bike and you're riding it, I believe there are more aspects that count on the bike to get where you have to be safe. You have to make sure, like on the road, like when you go out there, you're not a danger to yourself, you're not a danger to other people, because anyone can get a bike, but now without the interest or to know what makes a good rider, I believe like you'll have more accidents, and that's why it's rare to see a super bike. Most of the guys who ride big bikes having accidents, yet they ride on higher speeds, because apart from getting the bike, they've taken the initiative to go more and learn how to handle the bikes, because the more the power, the more risky it is on the road. Like you never know what you might get when you're riding at 150 kilometers per hour. So yeah, I believe once you get a bike, you have to take an initiative to know how safe you are on the road. So defensive riding, like see how experienced riders handle their bike. Also see how the manufacturers have put the safety measures on the bike, because like mine don't have the anti-braking system, but even if I do higher speeds, I know how to brake it. But the bigger bikes, most of them come with the ABS system, like you can move from 200 to 100 kilometers per hour in seconds. So there are many factors that makes you a good rider. So depending on the bike, you know how to handle the bike, how to make it safe for you, yeah, and become a better rider.
Actually, to top up on that,
yeah, sure.
To put into perspective, for a bike like this, it's about estimated like around 150 kilograms.
Yeah.
So for the big bikes, for example, now Joy, the 600cc bike that she uses is about 200 kilograms. So for you to be able to, this is in the aspect of respecting the bike. So for you to be able to stop that bike at 200 kilometers per hour, you have to have a lot of skill, because the initial effect of the power that you're gaining while you're throttling up, and then now for you to start braking, you have to have good brakes. You have to have the skill to be able to modulate your braking. So it is quite involving, because all these other big CC bikes, they're very heavy. For you to be able to stop them in time, it takes like a lot of skill and a lot of respect for the bike. So
True. Mathematics.
Yes, indeed, Phyllis. I mean, we're talking about how we can make the sport better,
Yes.
and maybe the importation of the spare parts and all that has been one major factor, has it?
Yes, it has, because I know it's hindered most of the racers from getting certain types of bikes, because you don't know if you get a certain type of bike, if you'll have enough parts for it, or if the parts, you can get the parts, you can import them, but maybe the duty will be charged so highly that there's no point of getting that bike. So you find that maybe people struggle with what bike to get, because they don't know if they can access the spare parts, or if they can access them, they are very expensive, or they are very expensive to buy and very expensive to ship and to pay duty on. So if I don't want to do Serikali's idea, but if the government could try and look at how to support the sports and this motorsport ecosystem by trying to help us with the duty and trying to help us with the regulations that come into purchasing and buying these spare parts, it would be really, really helpful for the racers themselves, and even for us as the organizers, knowing whether we can buy bikes so that people can come and race them. So if the systems were easier for us, it would be easier to have more people access the sports. Yeah.
And maybe talk about how, let's say, slick superbike racing, right? How does it help in upgrading the bikers' skills? You know, Kelvin talked about there not being a school or something like that.
Yeah. What I know Slick has done for sure is to create a community of racers. So what happens is that they will encourage people to show up on Saturdays and Sundays to practice on the track. And many times I know they've also catered for the costs of the track, because even that practice, the practice days, you pay to be on the track, about I think 1,500. Yeah. So they support racers by paying for them on the track days to come and practice if you show up. So I think in that way, they've definitely encouraged more racers to come. And I know they also sell some cars and bikes. So for some of the bikes that they sell, they have offered some of them to the skilled racers to be able to race them on the track. Not full time, but this kind of support from an organization like this has helped the track go, has helped the sport grow so much. And if other people who are also in the motorsports business could come in and give that kind of support, it could be even more and further.
Yes, supporting the sport is what required here, and it comes from all the angles, and the racers as well as the bikers need to know that they are going to race, and it will not be a headache for them in getting the spare parts and all that, right? I mean, Murray?
So also another challenge I feel like we go through with racing in Kenya is we have only about 2 tracks, and one track, the main track that we usually go to is in Whistling Morans. So you see now we've been using the track for a number of years now, so we're looking to get ourselves to expound our skill with different tracks, so that because the track that we're using is it's a go-kart track, so it's quite short, so it becomes cumbersome for the guys who are on the 600 or the 1000cc classes. So because they're usually just spending on one gear. For these small bikes of ours, we usually play around first to fourth gear. So for the big bikes, because they have a lot of power, and they just use one gear inside the track. So we're also looking towards seeing if we can be able to get ourselves to get another track. We don't know how that will happen. Maybe it might come into the future, so we're just hoping that will happen in the near future for guys to be able to experience like in a different place, so that we don't have to have costs to go to South Africa just to have a full experience of a full track. So yeah.
Yes, and Kelvin, has it been, how has the Wesley Moran track made you a better rider?
I'd say it's the best we have right now. For me, it's the only track I've raced in, so I'd say like I've get used to it. As he said, it's a small track. It's cumbersome for the higher CC bikes, because before you hit, you know, like gear 1 gets you to 100 kilometers per hour. So before you go to gear 2, the corner is there, you have to maintain. So basically, yeah, it's cumbersome for them. But I'd say, as much as he said, we are planning to maybe have a bike track in future. I'd urge maybe if the government comes through, because I believe there's Brad Binder in the MotoGP. He's the only African in the MotoGP riding a KTM, and he performs so well, because I believe when he was a bit younger, he maximized the use of the track in South Africa. And then you see, as much as he gets the glory, he's South African, so you have to say he's from what country. Yeah, so I believe the brands come through for him. He's a big name in SA, he's the big name in the MotoGP. So we can do it on ourselves, because most of us are still young. We're still growing career-wise and stuff, so you can say like we have a big land where we can buy. But if the governments come through, I believe it can be a big help to us, because they have the land, they have the resources. There's the Ministry of Sports, because if I believe some of us make it on ourselves out there, the government would like to be associated with us. Yet for the bigger time, like I've never seen a government official come even watch a single race. But if someone luckily enough went there on their own and performed better, like at the airport, I believe there are some guys from the government who would like to show like he's one of us. That all through the time there's no one who's come to support us, like even offer some voucher, because there are, especially on the big CC, there are some good riders. Yeah, and they go even to Dubai on their own expense and perform there. So I believe even if it's getting air tickets for them, like the way they register the marathon guys, the athletics guys, to go race out there, if they did that for some of our bikers, I believe we'd have a better platform to add to the, maybe if they built us just a track. I believe even the longest track shouldn't be even like 10 kilometers. And then it has a lot of corners, so it can't take much of the land. So if they came that through, I believe even if we have not had the experience to get there, I believe coming generation will have better.
From, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, and as we wind up, just you'll come take this ride around this set as we exit. And Phyllis, you can talk about as we exit, we can talk about the future of this sport, and you know, how has it been? You know, is it going to be interesting? Are we going to get to the level that we want?
Yes. Right now we're in a very competitive space, especially because of the upcoming race. So there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of interest. So if you're already not involved in the sport, this is a very good time to get involved. So as a sponsor, as a racer, as a spectator, whatever role that you play, I think this is the point to get involved.
Okay, thank you so much, Phyllis, Moriah, and Kelvin, for Moriah, Kuria, and Kelvin, as well as Phyllis. Thank you so much from Slick Superbike Racing for gracing our studios today. You know, and we also the government, so the government supporting you. You should not. But all the same, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been from Slick Superbike Racing. I've been speaking to Phyllis Nginau, the race director, as well as the two bikers, Moriah Kuria and Miruri Kelvin. Up next, we'll be speaking to Ronnie Lusigi, the recently elected Esports Federation president. He'll be here here to speak about the plans of the federation. Also, recently we heard Ngare Odimon winning in a tournament in France. How is that big for the Republic and the sport in the country as well? I'm Bernardo Kumu. Stay tuned.